Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we'll be talking about the Tashkent 39 and the ARP Haguro, and this is from the archive series, where basically I just choose to feature two premium games and from a while ago. So since these games from a while ago, they're actually from before 9.2, which means that they use the old equipment system rather than the new current one. So that's why they're not kitted out right now. But let's just get into it. First, we'll start with the Tashkent 39, and then we'll talk about the ARP Haguro. So, Tashkent 39 here. First of all, you get 3 engine SL1s and 3 torpedo reload booster 2s. So, if we look at the ship here, the stats here, you get 18k HP, which is pretty good for a destroyer this tier. It's actually like comparable to some weaker tier 10 destroyers in terms of HP. So it does a good amount of HP. But as you can see, this thing is very large. Let's just look at it here. That's Tokachi. If we compare it to, let's just say like I don't know, let's say like Harugumo. Oh, that didn't work. Yeah, Harugumo here. It's just barely smaller than the Harugumo. So that just shows like the size of the Tashkent 39. But anyways, so in terms of stats here, in terms of your speed, you move at 42.8 knots, and this is very fast for most destroyers. Plus, you get the 3 engine SL1s, so you have a very fast boat here. In terms of your acceleration, 13 seconds. That's pretty bad. That's really bad for destroyers. So, and your steering isn't much better either. So this thing is a very chunky and not very maneuverable destroyer, but you are fast. In terms of your guns, you get 3 130s. So we compare this to the actual Tashkent, which I don't have, but the actual Tashkent gets 6 guns. So you have half of that with a 5-second reload, and your guns are the normal Russian 130s. So you basically just have half of Tashkent's gun DPM. Now the main difference compared to Tashkent is that you get, while you do get, Tashkent also gets the 9 torpedoes. In the Tashkent 39, you basically get way more torpedo range. So 8.74 km. So compared to Tashkent, which is around like, actually I can check right now. I'm not sure, but I know Tashkent, the Russian destroyer torpedo range is not very good. Tashkent here, it gets 6 km torpedo range. So you get like 2.5 km more torpedo range. So this thing is definitely a torpedo boat compared to the Tashkent. Flood chance 12%, so that's pretty bad. But you kind of do spam with a lot of torpedoes. Your AA is non-existent, and you have 6.3 for surface detection. And remember, this is all before I load on the equipment. So, in terms of how you play this ship, well, it's basically a torpedo boat, kind of like you can think of it as like a tier 7 Sommers. So, normally Russian destroyers are more focused on guns, but the Tashkent 39 here is more focused on torpedoes. And I say it's similar to a Sommers because compared to other destroyers at this tier, you actually have quite a lot of torpedoes. You have a standard 9 here, which reload in 48 seconds, by the way. I forgot to mention that. They reload quite quickly. And you also have the torpedo reload booster. So this just lets you occasionally send out 12 torpedoes, and it just basically lets you spam torpedoes, kind of like a Sommers. So yeah, I would say it's like a Russian Sommers at tier 7, if I was to compare it to another ship. But in terms of playstyle, how you want to play this, basically, your gun DPM is one of the worst at the tier, so avoid gunfights with other destroyers unless they are not shooting at you, and you can easily farm them. Your main weapons is definitely your torpedoes, so obviously battleships are the easiest to hit, but if you can catch another destroyer with these torpedoes, or even a cruiser, it will still be helpful, because they do around 3k damage, 3.2k, not the best, but they will cripple enemies. In terms of speed, 62 knots, that's pretty standard, I believe, or that's on the slower side actually. Yeah, so just placing a torpedo boat, how you play Sommers, since they reload pretty quickly, you can use them for area denial, but your main purpose is to just be sending out these torpedoes constantly, keep the enemies moving, and yeah, just try to get as many torpedo hits as you can to actually do good damage. So now I'm gonna go over the build. For your elite bonus, you want advanced rudder system, because elite torpedo operator, it only gives -3% torpedo to reload time, and that's not worth it on torpedoes because the reload is too long. And also, now that acceleration, you really can't get an acceleration buff anymore, at least maybe until 9.3 comes out. I'm not sure. Hopefully you can get acceleration in 9.3. But this makes advanced rudder system even better, as in it gives you. Oh, sorry, wait, I messed up. Sorry, that actually gives you turning. Yeah, you know what? I'll still take that. That's better than Elite Torpedo Operator. Steering is still pretty good because this thing has bad steering. Yeah, my mistake on that. Okay, so for camo, I have the historical camo because I got this from Blitz Pass. Somehow for free. I don't remember how, but I just got it. Basically, minus 4% concealment. That's good. You get torpedo range and max traverse, so even better steering and also more torpedo range. That's still good. And you also get some main battery firing range, which allows you to farm from further. But your guns are only, they're pretty, even though the Russian guns, they're pretty easy to use. You still only get 3 of them, so they're limited in what they can do. Your battle honors here is standard play 10 battles, and then do 60k HP. So pretty easy battle honors. You just have to get a good game where you can farm damage. Okay, so now we'll move into supplies first. I'll try to go high grade coal here, improve crew rations, and then refined diesel, standard build. So equipment, I'm gonna go over slot 3 first because that's probably the easiest. I would go with a concealment one, even though it gives you less HP because you already have so much HP, so you can just play around with that. No, so even if you get less, it's not the worst in the world. For surface detection, I'd say that's worth it. Second slot here, I would probably run propulsion because you don't have anything better. And it'll just give you extra speed, which is always useful for you to move around better. Okay, so now first slot. You could just basically 3 directions you can go. Number 1 is precision rangefinder. So because the torpedo mods really don't have that big of an impact, you could run reload, and this just gives you a slight DPM boost to your guns for when you do fight other destroyers or are shooting at battleships to hopefully like permafires. And it gives you worse turret traverse, which doesn't really matter in this ship. So this is like the standard one if you want to run it. Or for the other 2 choices, you can spec your torpedoes. So I'd say this is the weaker torpedo one because you get minus 5% torpedo reload at max. Or no, this is a torpedo icon. Sorry, you get minus 6%, which, as I said earlier, really doesn't do that much. For less torpedo speed, your torpedoes are already kind of slow, so I say it's kind of not really worth it because the reload time is really not going to do that much because your torpedo reload is already like at 40 something seconds. So in general, torpedo reload honestly isn't usually worth it compared to something like gun reload, where most cruisers or destroyers have a quick fire rate, way quicker fire rate on guns compared to torpedoes, which means that gun reload often does more and you can feel it more. So for torpedoing firing panel here, the other one, I could see the argument for this one because it gives you plus like 7% torpedo range at max, which is pretty good. Actually, I'm gonna experiment with it right now. Let's see how much it actually gives you. So right now, your torpedo range is at 8.74. So let's say I installed this one here. I have a lot of silver, so it's not the worst in the world. So that gives plus 7%. And now it goes up to 9.32. So you get about 0.6 km torpedo range, which is honestly pretty decent in my opinion. But the only problem is in which niche scenario would you use this? Where torpedo range is really not the most reliable mod because the only time it's useful is when battleships start like turning out and they're at the edge of your range and you want to hit more battleships, or if you just want your torpedoes to reach further. And they also give you worse flooding chance. So beforehand it was 12%. Now it has been brought down to 11.1. So you lose around 1% flooding chance. So I can see the argument for this mod, but I would have to play the ship more to determine whether I'd do it. If you're not sure whether this will be useful or not, I would just stick to reload for now until you play around with it more. And if you ever feel that your torpedo range isn't enough, then you can switch to the one that's on here right now. So next is the commander here. I just have a standard commander. Wait, let me see. Do I have any destroyer commanders lying around? No, I don't. Wait, let's see. Yeah, I don't have any destroyer commanders. Okay, so I don't play Russian destroyers, so this guy's low level. But I'm gonna give you for which line I would share him with. Honestly, it doesn't really matter because both lines have skills that you're gonna take, which don't really affect the Tashkent. Both of them have engine SL, so you're gonna spec into that. Neither of them have torpedo reload booster, so that doesn't really, you're not gonna spec into that either. So you can honestly run either line and it'll work. This guy's built for the Delany line because I'd rather get that than the Grozovoy, so yeah. But it doesn't really matter or you can make your own dedicated commander if you want, your choice. But if I had to choose, I'd say run with the Grozovoy line so you can get your survivalist, Delany where you want fire supremacy. But let's go over the build. I went emergency response, obviously. Torpedo alert, no other choice here. Preheating, good choice. Victorious charge, yeah, that makes sense. Tier 5, if you're gonna run Grozavoy or just for this ship, run Survivalist. If you're gonna do Delny, run Fire Supremacy. Tier 6, go Generalist. Exploit Weakness really doesn't do that much, so go Generalist, but it's already too late for me, and I'm too lazy to switch this commander. Tier 7, no choices, go Fully Prepared. Tier 8, go Mistweaver if you're running for Grozavoy. If you're running this commander for just Tashkent 39 or Delny, go Adrenaline Rush. Tier 9, no-brainer, Engine Overload. Tier 10, go Master Reloader for Delny. Otherwise, go go Honor Seeker for Grozavoy or just this ship. APCS for 11. Giant Hunter for 12. For 13, I would probably go Greased Gears, Specialist, and Active Reload. Yeah, because you really don't use her torpedoes that much. This is for the Delny line, by the way. For the Grozavoy line, you could argue this green tree, or you can argue the red tree. For just Tashkent 39, I would go red tree, because torpedoes are your main weapon. You could go either or these ones. I usually like speed search more, but hide and seek is also pretty useful. Actually, no, this ship's guns are pretty useless. It's just 30% of your main battery. No, your HP. So that's what, like, that's around like 5k? 5 or 6k. So that's pretty easy actually. So you could go this one or you can go this one. Either works. And then you probably want readiness because of the amount of torpedoes you'll land in this thing. So that's the Tashkent 39 build. Overall, this thing is kind of like basically a torpedo spammer. You just want to spam up torpedoes if you can, but it's also a fast and chunky ship, so you have to watch out for that. Your guns, you only get 3 of them. While they're decent individually, you don't have enough of them to make them work against other destroyers. So just watch your fights and trust. Since with your speed, try to run away from like enemies who are hunting you down and are dangerous to your HP. And yeah, now I'll go over the ARP Haguro build. Okay, so now I'll be talking about the ARP Haguro build. So the ARP Haguro is basically a Miyoko clone. I can compare here actually. Let's get rid of these. Add this one and no, just get rid of premium. Miyoko, add to list, compare. Yeah, as you can see from the skills, you get this special skill. I'll talk about that more later. All the stats are exactly the same. You get a bit better AA, but that's literally it. So you're basically just a Miyoko clone. And I got this from the collab event, I believe. Yeah, so let's get into it. So ARP Haguro here, you get 2 precise aiming ones, and you get something called Vibration Torpedo. Interesting name, I know. But this is a special skill that came with the collab. And what it does is it gives you a little bit worse turning speed. It increases your torpedo traverse speed and your torpedo speed and your torpedo defectability by 20% for 30 seconds. And there's a 70-second cooldown. So essentially what it does is that it makes it so you don't have to lead as much for your torpedoes due to your torpedo speed increase. So if you notice in the game later on, when I use this skill, the white aiming cone actually moves like closer to the enemy ship because it's accounting for how fast your torpedoes are. And on top of that, it also makes your torpedoes harder to detect, so they have a less reaction time to use to basically see them. So let's go over the stats here. You get 28k HP, and your damage reductions are very standard. It's a Miyoko. Your speed is at 34 knots, which is decent for a cruiser at this tier. Time to full speed is 16 seconds. That's pretty bad for a heavy cruiser. Your steering is okay, 6.66. Interesting. But the main thing is your guns and torpedoes. So you get 10, the 10 Japanese funny layout with the third turret pointing back. But you get 10 of these 203s. They've just over 10-second reload, and your HE has an 8% fire chance, and 690 damage with 11.27 km range, and your AP does 805. So now onto torpedoes. You get 12 of them. So they're side mounted, 6 on each side. They reload in just under a minute, and they do 4k torpedo damage and have 8.74 range. And your AA is pretty mid, 121, 167, and your surface detection is 7.78. So you can stealth torp. You run 1 km margin before you run concealment. So this is obviously before the update, so my equipment isn't there yet. But basically, with the concealment mod, you should be able to get more stealth torp range, which is obviously what you want. And in terms of how you play Miyoko or ARP Haguro here, it's very similar to Miyoko, just with the extra skill, which is similar to the Zao playstyle also, but your biggest advantage is when you're kiting away, because your torpedoes are rear mounted, which means that basically they're easier to get off only when the enemies are chasing after you. Otherwise, you basically have to give full broadside to get them off. So Miyoko is actually a pretty powerful ship for the tier in terms of armament, because you do get 12 torpedoes and 10 guns, which is a lot. But the main thing is you're not very maneuverable and you're pretty squishy. So you need to make sure that you're basically not getting shot at or you can dodge. And your guns are good though. You can clap destroyers, you can start a lot of fires, and these torpedoes are good if you can get them, if you can actually use them properly and get them to hit. So let's go into the build now. Bonus, you have two choices. You can either go cruiser modernization for more HP and the turret traverse, or you get turret traverse and main battery reload, which is what I went with for a little bit more DPM. But both of these are, you can argue for both of them. Camo, the ARP ships come with their own camo, so that's why I just have this perma camo here. You get firing range, which is good. Torpedo range, that's also good. Max traverse speed, so that's steering, that's good. And surface detection, so that's good. So all good things with these camo, and they come with the ship. Battle honors, play 10 battles, easy. Cause 2 flooding in a battle. For this one, you just need to find a game where basically you can spam your torpedoes and people are actually getting hit. So honestly, if I were to be honest, the Zao playstyle is getting harder in 2026 because not as many battleships are willing to chase after you anymore. And cruisers have started learning how to dodge torpedoes, so it's a bit harder to land your torpedoes. But if you play correctly, this shouldn't take you too long to get done. And worst comes to worst, you can just wait for something like respawn. So supplies, standard, I'd go high grade coal, improved crew rations, refined diesel, same as the destroyer build. Equipment, so let's start with the obvious one. First, third slot, I would go concealment, because this ship's concealment is the Zao line concealment is very important. Okay, now this is where things get interesting. So for the second slot here, there are multiple things you can do, and for the first slot, you could run reload. The main downside of this is that your turret traverse is already pretty bad, because it's at around 8.03 degrees. That is pretty bad for a turret traverse on a heavy cruiser, and this would make it even worse. It'd get down to something like 7.2. Your second option here is you can run fire control radar to give you better dispersion, because previously we couldn't run dispersion at tier 7, but now we can. So in terms of dispersion, it does give you 2% surface detection, but you can get your dispersion up to -9%, which is pretty good. So personally, how I would build it is I would run fire control radar in second slot, concealment in third slot, and then for second slot, again, you have a choice. You can either run precision rangefinder here, again, get the reload down. You could also run the HP one here to counteract the HP you lost from concealment. You can even run speed if you want to get yourself more speed. So all these are good choices in terms of how you want to play. It really depends on, well, as I said, how you want to play. Right now I'm leaning more towards concealment, probably dispersion. Yeah, probably dispersion here, and then I'll probably run HP here just to get that HP back. Because me personally, I honestly find slow turret traverse very annoying on cruisers, like if the Yoshino, Moskva, Zao, all those stuff. I personally don't want to nerf the turret traverse that much just so I can get my guns on target with how I play. If you're someone who who doesn't mind slow turret traverse, then it's probably advantageous to run reload just for that DPM boost, and then you could even run precision on top of that if you want to stack your gun buff. But personally, if I were to build this, I would go precision, HP, and concealment. But you could always run speed in somewhere in here if you wanted to. So now let's go over the commander here. I don't have one loaded, but I would run my Zao commander here. So first one, underwater protection expert, no brainer. Torpedo alert, no brainer. Yeah, this thing should share a Zao commander ideally, because this is better for Zao PA, while Yodo has like ADA, so that's good. 4, go victorious charge. For the fifth one here, I go survivalist. You could argue for fire supremacy if you want another precise aiming, but I think 3 is plenty in Zao. For this ship though, you only get 2, so if you're going to dedicate a commander, you might want to run this. But survivalist is just pretty good, so I would go with that. Daredevil Plus, that's a special thing that this commander has. I personally wouldn't go with it because it's only at 50%, but you could always go with it if you want. Actually, Daredevil Plus is not bad, but I just like Survivalist, so yeah. Exploit weakness. I saw a shiny skill, so I took it. I don't know. Honestly, you should probably go Generalist, but I'm just hoping that 2% actually does something. Tier 7, you also want Marksman to buff your precise aiming skill. AR Plus here, that's very useful because AR is a very useful skill. So this gives you DPM boost at low HP. Demo Expert Plus here. Oh, for both of these skills, even though they're plus on this commander, on a normal commander, they'll just be normal, and you still want to take them. So yeah, take Demo Expert. Tier 10, you want Honor Seeker. Tier 11, there's a Zao debate whether you want APCS or IFHE. I feel like APCS is probably the better idea, but I just don't want to like overpen destroyers at close range, so that's why I go IFHE. And I also use HE quite a lot. It's probably a stupid argument, honestly. You should probably go this one, unless you have the commander with IFHE plus. I don't know if that changes things, but I personally like using HE and Zao, so that's why I ran it. But again, for a more optimal build, you should probably go APCS. Tier 12 here, I would go Giant Hunter. You're not going to get that many Citadels, even though I have Citadel Strike Plus here. And your deck is really not that strong, so horizontal deck protection won't do that much. What's this called? Tier 13 and yeah, and above, Towns. So you could run Greased. If you want a standard build, just go Grease Gears, Precise Strike, and I would go Active Reload. Yeah, this is the build I would run. With Grease Gears. For here, you could run Specialist, but I feel that the PA really does not do that much. Oh, one more thing, the special skill doesn't have any commander skills that affect it, besides maybe Specialist. I think Specialist can actually give you a bonus of that special skill. So if you feel like you're getting First Strike a lot, you could run this, but personally I'd go Precise Strike, because you are good at lighting fires, and that just gives you even more dispersion, which I like. And then Active Reload. You could argue Red Tree if you're using torpedoes like a lot, like Blitz Strike for fires, and like, I don't know, Speed Search or Hide and Seek. But I think it's the boss that these give you aren't as impactful as the Green Tree, so I personally would not go with this. And yeah, so these are my builds this is my build for the ARP Haguro. And now that we're done builds for both of these ships, if you have any questions about them or any just in general, comment down below. But now let's move on to the two games. Okay, so in the first game here, we're playing the Tashkent 39, and we're up against Colorado, Bayern, Black Ismail, Algeria, and Triple Mayhan. My team, we have New Mexico, Fuso, Brooklyn, Bayern, Shidatsu, Mayhan, and myself. And right now we're playing Domination Southern Archipelago. Side tangent here, I think this is one of the most annoying maps you can get at this tier, because it's a really large map compared to how fast these ships and the range you have at this tier. So personally, I don't like this map. But yeah, we spawned by ACAP. I switched to AP, don't worry about that. I switched to AP first, cause, well, that's what I could do. And also notice how's the old UI. Yeah, cause I didn't switch my ammo setting yet by this time. But I started using Engine SL to go into ACAP. As you can see, this is the old build, so I top around 47.5 knots. But with the new equipment setup, I would probably be going nearly 50 knots because I'll be running a speed mod. So due to how fast these torpedoes reload at around 48 seconds, I just chuck them out here. Just a zone B cap, especially since it's not being capped, there's a high chance that the destroyer will enter there later, which means that my torpedoes might actually catch them. But as you can see, the battleship who spawned with me, they ran away. You can look on the mini-map. Yeah, they turned back towards my team. So I'm just out here alone on the flank. I'm using my speed to my advantage. I'm going near this island, also because I don't want to take a fight with the enemy destroyer on gun. Even though it's just a Mayhan, which is definitely not the best destroyer in the world, I still don't want to take a gunfight with them because I know that I'm going to lose a lot of HP if I do that. So I'm just flanking around here. So next guy spot is at Algeria, and I haven't seen Mayhan yet, so that's a good sign, I guess. But I'm just going to keep my stealth here, and basically just try to drop Algeria. So I'm cruising along, but according to my indicator, this guy's gonna, my shells are gonna, my torpedoes are gonna hit the island if I launch right now. So I'm just holding on to them. Honestly, I'm flanking a bit wide here, but considering how fast this ship is, I don't really mind. And what I find instead is a battleship. So I'm just gonna bypass that Algeria and go towards the battleship instead, because I really just want damage. So I'm going after the battleship, and I'm pretty sure that these guys have no idea that I'm here. Yeah, honestly, I don't even know where the destroyer on this flank is because Algeria is in ACAP right now. And it looks like my battleships finally decided to come over. But to make sure I don't mess anything up, I'm just completely rushing this guy because there's no one defending him. So I'm just gonna go straight for him rush him and see what happens. As you see, my 2 guns. And man, looking back at this old UI, it feels so weird already. Even though it was, yeah, it looks so weird how these numbers jump up. But that wasn't even that long ago. So yeah, now I rush him, easy drop, and I get like my torpedo reload booster off too to get 12 torps out, and I do most of his HP here. So unfortunately, I got a flood and a fire at the same time, which means that the damage con both, which means that I now have to run away, and I didn't finish them off in 1 strike. So you can definitely see that Tashkent 30. This is a tier 6 battleship, by the way. So you don't have a one-shot capability like Shima does, but you do. Your torpedoes reload quickly. So even if you're rushing enemies, just make sure you're always ready to get out, because luckily this Bayern really didn't do much to me. But if I would play like more aggressive, or this guy was better at the game, then I could have gotten hit like even harder. But luckily you do have a lot of HP to play around with. So now I'm trying to go undetected again, but Bayern is still within my detection range. And this is actually where torpedo turrets might come in useful, because I don't know how it ended up on the other side, but it did. Oh, now I'm undetected. But yeah, since this guy's so low HP, I'm just gonna launch widespread, 2 widespread, 1 narrow spread, and it should easily kill him. One more thing, for your torpedo reload booster, it takes about 90 seconds to reload, which is around 2 strikes, so every other strike you should be able to get 12 torpedoes out, for 3 of them. But unfortunately, this guy's turning out, and this is what I mean where torpedo range could be useful, because I'm not sure if my torpedoes will actually hit this guy because he's turning out and away. Yeah, actually he might just dodge them. I might hit 1 torpedo actually, I don't remember. Yeah, I hit 1 torpedo and get a flood actually, and I think my teammates can finish him off. But it was the case where this was the edge of my torpedo range. This is where running torpedo range could be useful on this ship. So I could see the argument for it, but it does lower your flood chance, and somehow I've already gotten 2 floods this game. So yeah, this thing is okay at flooding just due to the sheer amount of torpedoes you have, while its individual torpedoes flood chance isn't very good. So now my teammates are capping B cap. I don't know why they just left A cap. Nope, actually it's being capped by an enemy destroyer. I don't know how that Mayhem got there. Probably flanked around the entire map or something. I don't even know. But now I see a Colorado, and this guy's on almost full HP, and I'm just gonna do the same thing because, well, I'm fast. This guy's nobody defending him, and I don't want to miss my torpedo, so I'm just rushing him. One thing I find annoying about these ships is how slow the torpedoes are, so that's why I often rush so much. But if you can learn to use these torpedoes from range, they're actually quite effective. But me personally, I don't want to deal with that, so I just rush the Colorado to make sure that, well, no funny business. And again, it doesn't one-tap him, even with the torpedo reload booster, so just be careful of that. But as you can see, I went right beside him, his turrets were turned the other way, and he couldn't hit me, and now I'm just prepared to straight run away. So since the enemies have also left C cap, I'm just going to go to C cap, and just try to go undetected. But I'm pretty sure the Colorado is too close for me to do that. Yeah, they're still within like 1 km inside my range, so I just gotta keep running away if I want to go undetected. And they just got a good salvo there. That did like a good amount of damage and got double fire, but nothing a heal and a damage can't fix. So I could go after Colorado again, but they're kind of turning away, so I'm not really considering it. Yeah, they're kind of turning away. So luckily this black Ismail is heading towards me, so I'm just gonna. I don't think I can risk rushing him this time because I have no more heals and I'm off damage control. Or on some cooldown, so I'm just gonna launch from range. But unfortunately, this guy does turn in, so yeah, I didn't really hit the torpedoes here. But I just keep going along. So when playing this ship, you should learn how to hit your torpedoes. Yeah, otherwise you could keep missing like I did here. What I'm actually gonna do here is try to wait behind the island and jump this guy. But I think I might, poke out too far here and get spotted. But I'm just gonna go back behind the island and, well, just try to wait to ambush this guy. Because, yeah, I want more damage. Luckily my torpedo reload booster is back up again, so I'm ready to jump this guy. But yeah, you'll see what happens. So that's 1, 2, 3, torpedo reload booster 4 off, and then he just one taps because the HE loaded. So I die here, but even though I died, we can look at the Ismail from above. He's turning out, so. But I got all my torpedoes off, so let's see how much I hit. Yeah, that's 5. Yeah, I hit 5 torpedoes. So that's the game brought me up to 87k total. But however, this game is a loss because you saw my 3 battleships at the beginning of the game. I think they just got bullied by Mayhem the entire game. So yeah, and that's the game over. So I got Battlestar. So in terms of this ship's game impacts, it's honestly about as effective as the Sommers, if not worse, because you don't have smoke or anything to support your team. So it is a very selfish playstyle. You can deny areas with your torpedoes, but it is quite hard to carry a team in this thing. So while this is good for torpedo hits, would I really recommend it? If you're looking for a ship where you can just spam with torpedoes, then sure, you can play this ship or get this ship. But in terms of game, if you're looking for a destroyer with high game impact, torpedo boats usually aren't as good as gunboats in terms of that. Because gunboats can serve the purpose of using torpedoes as a threat and destroying enemy destroyers, while torpedo boats, especially those without smoke, often can only farm for damage, like this one. So while it is a fun ship to take up from time to time, I wouldn't say it's the best ship in the world. It's more of like a funny gimmick ship where you can just spam torpedoes and zoom around really quickly. But when you meet like actual resistance from other gunboat destroyers or from cruisers who are hunting you down, it actually gets quite hard to actually deal with them properly, since you have no smoke and your only thing is that you can go fast, while your detection is honestly not the best. So yeah, that's the Tashkent 39. Now let's move on to the ARP Haguro. Okay guys, so in the second game here, we're playing ARP Haguro, and we're up against a New Mexico, Black Brooklyn, don't worry about that, a Pensacola, Mayhan, Fairgut, a Bot Francesco, Bot Miyoko, and I didn't see what's on my team, but that's okay. So, we're playing Haven, where we spawn near A and B cap, so I'm probably just gonna go near those ones, as expected, but I guess it really depends on what my team does. So, I'll switch to AP first of all, because I like using AP to hit destroyers hard, so that's why I switch at the beginning of the game. And it can also be used against other cruisers if they're not well armored. But my Sims is going towards B cap, so I guess that means I'll have to cap A, because since my Dallas is going towards B cap too. This guy's just sailing straight. Yeah. And I don't know why I'm getting so many notifications, but don't worry about it. So yeah, seems both my teammates don't know how to cap A cap, but the Sims even going into B cap, I don't even know. I don't even know what this guy's doing. So, seems like we'll have a great game already. Oh wow, he finally turned towards B cap. Good job. So I'm just gonna flank around the side here because I don't trust these teammates, so I'm not gonna go near them. But yeah, also Miyoko, the Haguro or the Miyoko is good at flanking in general, or the Zao line. And it's just an HE because Miyoko's already spotted, so the destroyer most likely is not already here. But it's a bot Miyoko, so he should go down really easily. Behind them, the Black Brooklyn is there, and there's another destroyer. That's decap and a battleship in between. So I'm just gonna open up against Black Brooklyn because there's nothing really in my range that can hurt me. So, but I completely whiffed him because I didn't lead enough. But yeah, I'm just gonna keep going here. The battleship's file was bot Francesco, so that's not really a threat. So yeah, there's a double fire Miyoko, the instant damage con. But they're gonna go down really soon because they're getting targeted by basically everyone. Yeah, they're dead already. Next, bot Francesco. Let's get the bots out of the way. So I haven't used any of my skills here yet, but for your torpedo thing, your torpedo skill, you usually just want to use it when either you're aiming against a target that, well, are more likely to dodge. Like if you're also this is before the bot patch, so that's why the Francesco is doing the drift. But since they just damage on fire, I'm trying to get permafrost on them. But I completely missed because they drifted. Yeah, I was saying with the torpedo thing, you either want to use it against ships that, well, they're sailing a straight line and then they might like react while they see it, so if they can dodge easily from that, you can make your torpedoes go faster, and also they haven't hard time seeing it. Or in this case, I'm using it as a bot because it's really unpredictable, so I'm just gonna try to make them faster, so hopefully if they get there quicker, then there's a higher chance that the bot will not drift while the torpedoes are heading their direction. So yeah, see, it's as the bot's turning in, yeah, bot's turned in. If my torpedoes weren't that fast, you probably wouldn't dodge all of them, but at least I hit 2 here. So while this is active, you could theoretically get both sides off, but realistically, you're only going to use this for one side of your torpedoes because, well, in the 2026 meta, it's pretty hard to get both sides off of your torpedoes because kiting away having a battleship chase you is kind of difficult. But in this case here, since my battleship is in front of me, they can tank for me, so I don't really need to worry about getting hit. But unfortunately, there are very good torpedoes. But I'm just gonna launch the other side of torpedoes against this battleship and the New Mexico, and hopefully I hit some. And yeah, I'm just gonna keep farming these guys. As you can always see that when it's like a player, like not a bot, or when there's a lot of players, I'm always setting myself up in the kiting position because not only is the Zao line good at that, you get your torpedoes off easier that way, and also your angles back from your guns are also pretty good. So yeah, that's why I set up in a cutting position. But this new was not really looking at me, so I could have honestly just kept backing up. I saw him hit 2 for torpedoes on the Farragut at the back there, I think. So that was a lucky catch. But yeah, this team goes definitely down. He's in between all my teammates. Yeah, and also Dallas. Sean can shoot at Dallas, so I don't need to worry about him. Yeah, he's dead already. So Nyx is the Black Brooklyn here. Again, I'm just gonna fire HE at them because I don't trust the AP pen. If you want AP CS, you can probably fire AP at all cruisers, but I just like using HE for the fires. Against the shores though, I like using AP, so I just fire HE salvo. And then I don't plan to shoot at this guy anymore, so I just keep the HE loaded. Or, I thought I would finish him off, but I guess I didn't leave it out. So, yeah, I think this Nyx salvo should kill him. Yeah. So Nyx here, we got a Pensacola, and well, I think this guy was probably my next target with torpedoes. Farragut did launch torpedoes, but it's okay. Oh, also for situations where, so you see there the Pensacola was actually accelerating, so they might have actually gone behind the island. So this is a situation where I would have used the torpedo, the skill, because it actually makes your torpedoes faster, which means that there's a lower chance that enemies will actually go behind the island. So that's another situation where you can use the torpedo skill. But in the heat of the moment, I think I just forgot about it and just like decided to use it against him. And luckily this guy he beached himself on the island, so I hit all my torpedoes and he dies. So all that's left now is the Black Brooklyn, I believe, and also, yeah, there's a Black Brooklyn shooting. And also another destroyer who went around and capped all our caps. But as long as our Sims caps decap, we should be fine. Yeah, we're ahead on points, and Black Brooklyn is not surviving this. Yeah, but as you can see, I'm getting a bunch of semi-pens, so I could have tried AP here, I think. But I don't know, I'm not sure how the AP pen. Yeah, there's some torpedoes coming from B cap, so I might take a few of those. So overall, the ARP Haguro, I know the collab isn't here right now, but if the collab ever comes back and you have the chance to pick it up, if you enjoy the Miyoko like a lot, then this is definitely like an upgraded Miyoko. But otherwise, it's not really that good of a ship in terms of premium wise, because it's literally just a Miyoko clone. Like stat wise, everything's the same except a bit better AA, and you get a better skill. So you could call it it's a better Miyoko, but it's not very different from a Miyoko, if that makes sense. And also, Miyoko is not the best ship in 2026. Like, it's definitely usable. You have a lot of firepower, but you are lacking like survivability. But yeah, I still find this ship fun. I actually have a very good average in it. I don't remember what my number is, but it's actually surprisingly high for a tier 7 cruiser. So that's one thing I'm happy about with this thing. But it's because I haven't played that many games in it. In terms of how I got it, I believe I got it from Regatta, I think. I don't really remember actually. No, it wasn't from a crate. I'm pretty sure it's a Regatta, so I just got this thing from that. Like, it was an easy grind anyways. I was playing a lot at that time, so yeah, it was pretty easy to get. Yeah, but now we're just waiting to mop up this game. I've done 93k so far, which is pretty good. And there's a Mayhem. So let's see if I can finish them off here. Waiting for them to turn full broadside, and then let's see. And I do some overpens. Yeah, so if I ran APCS there, I would have gone even more overpens. And that's what I want to avoid with the Zao line, because I do want to be able to use AP at those close ranges, because Zao AP has less penetration. But yeah, that's 97k. That's my highest damage in this thing, I think. But yeah, this thing, as you can see, this ship definitely has a lot of damage potential. It's just, you need to find a way to actually like utilize all of that and hope that battleship chase after you. But I actually lit 10 fires, which is like surprising for a tier 7 cruiser. And yeah, I got top of my team. As expected, teammates don't do very well, but that's expected at tier 7. So yeah, I'll say ARP Haguro. Overall, it's upgraded Miyoko, but I just have it lying around. But like, personally, I wouldn't go out of my way to spend gold or anything on this ship. If you can get it from a grinding event for free, and you enjoy Miyoko, because I enjoy the Zao line, so that's why I got it. It's pretty cool. Otherwise, you don't need to get it. Anyways, that's it guys. Thank you for watching, and have a wonderful rest of your day.